Good afternoon, everybody. I know we were here just a couple days ago, so not much else to report from Saturday other than what we talked about. So obviously a short week, an opportunity to play a really good football team in Greenville. Be my first trip there. I heard it's a great atmosphere and a heck of a crowd, and they've got a really good football team, very talented, very well coached, and we know it's going to be a challenge for us. So we're doing our very best to get prepared in the short amount of time that we have, and obviously having to travel on Wednesday. So we're every moment since we played the game on Saturday, we've been trying to get prepared for the game.
Rich, you want to start us off with questions?
Jeff, what's the biggest challenges that the press league does?
I think recovery is one. We played 82 snaps on offense. I think it was 82 snaps, and I believe with the field goal plays, the field goal and PATs, which that's a defensive snap. We had some starters that played 90 snaps on defense. So having a recovery time is a challenge. That's one thing. And the other is preparing for a very formidable opponent. They have a high-powered, fast-paced offense, and they've got a lot of athletes, and are really scary. And then defensively, they are athletic, a great-looking football team. Coach Harrell does a terrific job. His defensive background obviously has squared off against us in the past and against Cody Worley in years prior. And so there are a lot of particular challenges, and it's all magnified with a short week.
Jeff, 3 games in, though it's the quarter pole of the season, how would you evaluate where your team is at 25% through the season?
We're just a work in progress, trying to improve, and obviously we've had some turnover issues on offense that we've got to try to address. It's really cost us opportunities to maybe finish off a couple of football games this year. Defensively, we did a really good job against Kansas State of being effective and tackling well, but this past game just completely the opposite. Didn't do very well with that, and so the bottom line is we gotta improve. We gotta do a better job of sustaining blocks up front on offense, getting off of blocks on defense. It starts with the guys on the line of scrimmage, and then taking care of the ball on offense, and doing a good job of tackling, getting people to the ground on defense. So there's a lot of things we need to work on and get better at. We're certainly not where I hoped we would be from a record standpoint. I think our guys are playing really hard. I think they're tough. But we've got to execute, and that's the only way to win football games is to execute.
Thank you, Coach.
Kevin Fallon?
Jeff, just to reference what you were talking about, you guys had trouble against Tarleton. You bounced back well against Kansas State, improving all those technical aspects that you pride yourself on. It appeared to be almost a step back on Saturday. Would you agree, and what do you hear about that?
In some ways, we took a step back. Obviously with the turnovers, that's a huge step back. The tackling, our tackling fundamentals were really poor, and that's a step back. North Texas did a really good job of blocking our guys up front defensively on Saturday, and we got to do a much better job with that. We had some plays offensively, and you're not going to hit every play, but just some things from an assignment standpoint. The 4th down play, we hurried up where we'd thrown it to Noah, and I thought it skipped and hit the ground, and there's no replay of it because we went so fast in the next play and they stopped us. They were showing the replay of that, but that's just that's a play where we didn't block it correctly, and the guy just shot the A gap unblocked, and that's a little bit frustrating to have those things happen. So there's there's things we got to correct and things we got to get better at. It's hard to play perfect, but I feel like sometimes we are under pressure. We got to play perfect because we are playing some very talented teams and very athletic teams, big teams, and so we got to be able to execute our assignment fundamentals at a really high level, and so that's what we're going to try to work to do in the next couple of days to get ready for the East Carolina game.
Jeff, do you like playing Thursday after Saturday games? Not that you're having a choice.
No. No. I'd much prefer to have a bye week before a Thursday game. It's nice to have the extra time to be recovered and well rested, and then obviously playing a Thursday game gives you a couple extra days for the next opponent. So that's ideal, but it's college football, and I think the trade-off is we get to play on national TV on ESPN, and it's the only game on probably at that time of the night, and so we get to showcase the program and our players, and that's certainly great for the program.
Imagine having the short week has its benefits and also its detraction. Obviously, it was a very tough mental loss on Saturday, so you have little time to recover. But on the flip side, the fact that you have to get right back into it, does that help kind of make you forget what happened Saturday and just focus on the Thursday game?
Oh, no, I don't know if it helps us forget. I think we always have we need to put games behind us, win or lose. It's difficult to do as a competitor, particularly the losses. The victories are much easier to put behind us, and we can allow victories to impact the way we play the next time by being complacent and feeling like well, we're good enough and we've arrived, and we can do this against this opponent. We ought to be able to do that against every opponent. And the bottom line is you get every week teams fighting you and trying to win, and they got good players too, and so got to put it behind us. And I think we did a good job of that after game 2 with the victory, of putting behind us and getting prepared for North Texas. We knew how good they would be, how tough they would be, and unfortunately we didn't find a way. They made a bunch of plays, and we didn't make enough of them, and we find ourselves on the short end of the stick, and it's disappointing. It's hard. Emotionally, it's difficult. Physically, it was a really challenging game for us. Like I said, we had a lot of guys that played a lot of snaps, and it's a very hard-fought football game. But we got to put it behind us and get ready for East Carolina. If we sit around and think about that one and rehash what could have been or what happened, or continue to watch that film, that's not going to help us get ready for East Carolina. So I think every week we really face that challenge of putting the last game behind us and get ready for the next one.
Jeff, can you just address the quarterback situation now that you've had a chance to watch the film and everything? What did you think about Dwayne and Kale's performances? What's your thinking as of right now, heading into Thursday, as far as how you plan on using them?
Obviously, Kale certainly struggled early in the game, and which is why we made the change. As well as he played against Kansas State, he came out and really struggled to take care of the ball. And the first fumble where he pitched it to Noah was an errant pitch. Not that he couldn't have pitched it to him, but he was pitching off the wrong guy, and it was a triple option play, and just a mistake on his part. And unfortunately, we lost that one. And then the next one was a contact fumble. He's running the ball and didn't secure it. And they were able to knock it away from him. And then the interception, he's trying to throw that thing in there. It was the third down play. And unfortunately, they made a great play and returned the ball back to our 10-yard line. That was after their team had come off the 2-yard line, and we finally got the ball back from them on downs. They went for it on 4th down and didn't make it. We turned right around and give it back to them, and they were able to kind of complete that swing of 98 yards coming off their 2-yard line for a touchdown. And just some unfortunate things there off of those 3 turnovers made it 21-0. And we just felt like we needed a spark, and went with Dwayne. And I thought Dwayne handled it really well. He did a really good job. He's prepared, took care of the ball, and again, unfortunately, we couldn't finish it out. But Dwayne got injured there at the end, just got a cramp, and was struggling to finish the game, and Cale had to come back in and give him credit for coming off the bench and being ready and taking over there in the overtime period. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. I don't have an answer on who's going to be the guy that'll take the first snap, but I'm pretty sure it'll be one of those two guys.
Could it literally be a game time decision?
No, we'll make it before then. I mean, we're not going to make it before the game, like in the moments before the game. We'll know in the next couple of days.
Austin, get started on Zoom, please.
Perfect. We'll go to Ken Kreitzer first. Ken, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Just on the following up on Ken's comment about the quarterback situation, how do you feel about Zach Mundell if he was needed to go into a game?
Well, he'd go in the game and do a good job. I don't have any doubt. He works really hard. He practices every day. All of the same things that those two guys that have started games practice, the fundamentals, the plays. He gets plenty of reps in practice, so we've got confidence he would do a good job.
And just on defense, Coach, Eric Ford had a big day. I think he had 7 tackles in the game, and outside linebacker. Yeah, 7. How do you feel he did? Was this kind of an elevation of his game?
He had a good game. He's continued to improve. This is really he's a first-year starter for us. So though he's a senior, he's relatively inexperienced when it comes to playing entire football games. And he played 70 snaps on Saturday, which is a lot of snaps. And some of those were really good. Some of them need improvement, just like the rest of his teammates. A lot of it was good. And so I'm anxious just to see him continue to play and get that game experience, and I think he'll continue to play better as the season goes along.
Also, Steven Nardozzi had a bunch of big tackles, at 6 on the day. So like he had a good game.
Nardozzi came in place of Colin Madison, who was injured, and filled in and did a good job. He had the big forced fumble there at the end of the fourth quarter, which gave us a chance to go down and tie up the game. So that was a big play, and he's a different type of athlete. You look at Colin. He's a shorter. He's a physical guy, good speed. Steven's a little bit longer, rangy, built a little bit more like Casey Larkin, but very capable of doing the job, and made some good plays for us on Saturday.
And just about East Carolina, their coach who came in last 6 games last year, Blake Carroll, I believe they won 5 of the 6, and they beat North Carolina in the Military Bowl. What did he bring to the team? As you said, he was a defensive coordinator, linebacker coach. What did he bring that kind of sparked the second half of their season last year?
You'd probably be better asking the people there on what he brought and how things got changed. Certainly, I think there was some great enthusiasm. He's a pretty fiery guy, and they just started playing really well. And he obviously had been on staff, the defensive coordinator, and maybe some of his personality as a defensive coordinator came out in the entire team. But he does a really good job. He's an outstanding coach, and but I think the folks there probably would have a good answer for you on that.
Sure. And just about their about their quarterback, Caden Hauser, 103 to 158, averaging 314 yards a game, 5 touchdowns, and their top running back, London Montgomery, 37 yards a game, 151 total. What do you see in their offense?
As I said in my opening statement, just an athletic football team. They go really fast, and they're one of the fastest paced or tempoed offenses in the country, and so they create challenges for teams doing that. Really athletic, running backs, receivers, tight ends, our offensive line. The quarterback obviously is an experienced guy. I think they got a really good offense and make it a real challenge for their opponents. It'd certainly be a challenge for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Ken.
We'll go next to Joe Iacano, Go Black Knights.
Coach Monken, first question for you. The defensive line struggled last week, getting pressure on the quarterback as well as in run defense. Obviously, they're missing one of their key leaders in Cody Harris-Miller. What's Cody's status? How's he coming along, and does he have a chance to play on Saturday or Thursday?
No, he's not going to play on Thursday. He's still in a recovery phase, so we're confident he's going to be back before the season's over. We don't know exactly when that's going to be, but making progress.
And then follow-up and final question for you. What does practice look like this week? Are you guys full contact today? Are you hitting tomorrow, kind of, with the short week? How have things changed for you?
We're in shells today, so it's a little bit of a lighter practice, not what we normally would do on a Tuesday. Obviously, the short week kind of changes how we operate. Typically, we come back and practice on Sunday in spiders and helmets and take Monday off, which helps recover, and then we can get back into it on Tuesday. So, because we're having to do something physically every day this week just so that we can be prepared. It's a little lighter today. Tomorrow will be a little heavier than today was. And then Wednesday before we leave will be really light. And then we'll fly down there and hopefully have our guys as fresh as they can be coming off of Saturday.
Thanks.
We'll go next to Thomas Shanahan. Thomas, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I'm writing this story for the Raleigh News and Observer, somewhat of a homecoming for Larry Pickett. Can you give our readers kind of a summary on why you recruited him and how he's progressing in his second year?
And we've had a chance to talk about Larry a good bit here the last couple of weeks, just because of the events a few weeks ago, and it's a great story. Larry's a good football player, really smart, a good leader, and that's how we identified him, Tom. We identify all of our guys. Usually they come highly recommended by their coach, and we follow up and do our evaluations as we did with him, and just found a guy that was a good fit for our program. And he's playing special teams. He hasn't played a bunch of defensive snaps for us, but I anticipate over the course of his career this season, and if not this season, as he goes through his career, that he'll find his way onto the field on defense. It's usually the way it works. When guys continue to persevere and push through, then they find their way onto the field.
Okay, and then obviously with your roster, just about every road trip is a homecoming for somebody. How do you deal with that for guys to keep their focus?
I think our guys are excited to play, and whether it's here or it's at home, for them, they're going to see parents, they're going to see friends. There are distractions out there that can, I guess, cause issues. But if our guys remain focused, which I think they do, then they aren't distractions. There's always temptations, though, and that's the case for everybody.
Great, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Tom.
Anything else, Austin?
Anything else on Zoom, guys? I think we're good.
Thanks, everybody.